Hi, so we just want to welcome everybody to the realm of eLearning. Today we're going to present a modified online version of an in-person workshop that we had prepared for the Library Collective last year. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we were not able to cross the border and do this workshop. So we've modified it as an online version for this symposium. During this workshop, we'll also give a brief update on a lightning talk that we did a couple years ago for this symposium. So we will start today's session by introducing you to the land of eLearning. After that, you will take that context and you will develop your own role-playing character. You will then go into a breakout room and meet your party, and your adventure will begin. So just a disclaimer, if you're like me and you're not a fan of games and role-playing, right now, if you want to pretend that your internet connection broke and left, we won't judge you. Okay. Next slide, Angela, please.
Did it not switch for you?
Yeah. Okay. So welcome to the land of eLearning, a land once prosperous and beautiful, where Boolean operators moved freely through the plains and crap tests filled the skies with credible resources. But alas, over the last few years, eLearning has come under a great shadow. Information literacy instruction once filled the land, embedded all types of learning, and was greatly revered. But with teaching moving online and fake news spreading across the land, information literacy has taken a back seat, allowing the gradual creep of information illiteracy.
Mwahaha, I shall soon take over all of eLearning.
Frightened by this all-consuming threat, the Library Collective Council of eLearning met and developed a plan. They would forge an e-learning object so robust and so modular that with minimal effort, sections could be removed or added so it could be used very quickly in conjunction with any information literacy scenario. They summon your party and ask for your help in creating this plug-and-play e-learning object. But my friends, this task is not for the faint of heart, for it is fraught with dangers, because to get to the heart of any e-learning object, you must first slay the e-learning dragon. And yes, we will say that many dragons were hurt in the making of this workshop. This quest has been attempted before by an intrepid party of librarians and the inventors of DOODS, the Digital Objects on Demand service at the University of Toronto. In real life, I'm Tracy, but that doesn't matter today because for this workshop, I'm known as Voidus Lecturnus, a librarian with an e-learning weakness of finding lecturing to an online void frustrating, not being able to see people when I'm talking. And in my party here today with me is Angela.
Sorry, in real life, my name's Angela Henshilwood. But for today, my name will be Fumbleina Mealy Mouse, and my character class is librarian, and my e-learning weakness is that I can't complete a recording without fumbling over a million words. So to give you some context, and as a reminder of our lightning talk from the eLearning Symposium in 2018, so in 2018, we received a grant to create a service called Digital Objects on Demand, or DOOD for short, where faculty from the Applied Science and Engineering at UT could order information literacy training digital objects on demand for their courses. We actually, so we presented about this at a previous symposium. Not that we expect you to remember, but we decided to create 4 types of digital objects: modules using Articulate Storyline, screencasts, videos for demonstrations and the like, podcasts, and handouts. And we chose 4 popular information literacy topics to cover in the objects: evaluating sources, types of resources, search strategy, and searching. But the main reason for creating this service was to reduce the amount of time spent making digital objects by creating modular templates that could be easily modified and reused in different scenarios. So this gives you an example of how the modularity part works. So for example, Tracy created these 10 podcasts on the different types of resources that might be useful to an engineering student. And sorry, we forgot to mention we're engineering librarians, so that's why our examples are engineering related. They're each 3 minutes or so. They describe what the resource is, where you can find them, and why an engineer might want to use them. Then say, as an example, the first year engineering course instructor contacts us and says, my students need to know more about handbooks, standards, and patents. We can then combine those 3 modules for about 9 minutes of content, podcast content, and then upload them to the LMS. Or as another example, the 4th year capstone instructor might contact us about a set of different resources, and we can combine these 5 resources to make about 15 minutes of content and then upload that to the LMS. So alas, initially there was very little interest in the service with very few requests, and the information literacy was winning the battle. Sorry, one moment. But when COVID-19 hit, we got a huge increase in requests for online information literacy instruction. So we were able to use these modular digital objects to fill the gap and pump out tailored online information literacy instruction in record time and minimal work. Take that, information literacy dragon. So now it is time to start your quest. Do you have what it takes to build a modular e-learning object and slay the e-learning dragon? Your objective today: slay the e-learning dragon by creating an e-learning object that can be quickly customized with minimal modifications for different scenarios. This is you on your path. That's you. And you are trying to reach that perfectly modular and customizable dude in the sky. So before we begin, we're going to go through all the instructions and how this is all going to work. But to start, if you could please download the PDF handout on this site. And actually, I'm just going to exit presentation mode so that I can, oops. I'm going to try to exit presentation mode. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing for 1 minute so I can just get this, copy the link and put it in the chat for you. Part of my fumbling here. So here's the link to the handout that we'd like you to download. And if just make sure you do download it because it's a fillable form PDF. And so if you open it, try to open it with something else like Google Docs. It will still work, but the formatting is off. We tested that. So it's really better if you can download it. I'm just going to give you a few seconds to give you time to do that right now, although you will have time to do it in a little bit as well.
And maybe if you could let us know in the chat if once you have it open and once we see a couple you have open, we can move along.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, Annetta's got it. Oops. Great. Okay, thank you, Reese and Krista and Ellen, everybody. Awesome. So I'm going to move on. So the first thing you're going to do once you get into the breakout rooms is choose your character class. Oh, sorry, no, actually, you're going to do this right now. I'm going to give you a minute to do it right now. Choose your character class. So you could be a public or academic librarian. You could be a savvy library patron or a conspiracy theory patron. never checked a fact you met, an IT specialist, or maybe a senior high school student, or maybe a novice undergrad. So pick your character class right now. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. We don't have a lot of time, so it is going to be quick. So just pick the first one that stands out to you. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about it.
And you can record that on page 1 of the handout as well.
Yes, sorry. Okay. The next thing you need to do is to pick your name for your character. So you can use any name you like. Pick a first and last name. If you need some inspiration, you can use the tables provided on the screen. So if your favorite color is blue, maybe you'll pick Irving. And if you're not into vegetables, maybe your last name will be O'Turn, Irving O'Turn. And you can record that on page 1 of the form of the PDF form that you downloaded. Again, I'm just going to give you a few seconds. Don't spend too much time on this. Okay, next, you're going to pick your character's e-learning weakness. So all heroes have an Achilles heel. What is your character's biggest weakness in terms of e-learning? And write that down on page 1 of your worksheet in the field provided. Okay, and now let's pick our e-learning weapon. Here's some examples, but feel free to choose your own. Maybe you have a great laptop that works really well for you when you're doing your e-learning work, or Camtasia is your tool, your weapon, YouTube, persistence, that's a good one, curiosity, IT support, or what have you, or pick your own. Again, that's on page 1 of your worksheet. Fill in the field. Okay, if you haven't finished, it's okay. You can probably take a few minutes when you get into your breakout room to finish that up. But so in a few minutes, you will be put into a breakout room with your party. But first, some instructions, and also you'll notice these instructions are also in the PDF file that you downloaded. So don't worry too much about keeping track of these instructions. So the first thing you're going to do when you get into your breakout room is introduce your character to your party. Tell them your character's name, the class that you chose, either librarian or patron or what have you, and then your character's e-learning weaknesses and all, et cetera, et cetera. So go around and make sure everyone has a chance to introduce. Then you're going to have one member of the party roll the dice. And on page 2 of your worksheet, there is a link to an online dice that you can use. And this will be to roll the dice to find out what information literacy skill your party's module will teach about. So if you roll a 1, you'll be teaching about picking search terms. If you roll a 2, evaluating information. If you roll a 3, selecting databases, and so on. 4 types of resources, 5 Boolean searching, 6 using information ethically. And all party members of your party should write the answer down in your handout on page 2. Next, you're going to have one member of your party roll the online dice to find out what the subject, the e-learning object will be for. So 1 will be history, 2 will be science, 3 will be art, 4 will be geography, 5 will be nutrition or health, and 6 will be current events. And then you're going to have one member of the party roll the online dice to find out who the e-learning object will be for. So 1 will be high school students in their last year, 2 will be first year university students, 3 will be just general university students beyond the first year, 4 advanced researchers, 5 general public, and 6 new library staff. So then the get to the meat of the point, the project. Now that your party has your scenario, discuss how you will design an e-learning object that will teach your information literacy skill for the audience that you rolled for. Remember, your e-learning object should be modular. And by modular, we mean made up of parts that you can easily interchange, kind of like plug and play. Also remember, some of you have chosen characters that are not librarians. Try to see the quest from their perspective, even if they wouldn't normally be the ones creating the digital objects. So this is a summary of the instructions. And again, it's on your worksheet. You'll have 10 minutes. So you'll be put in the breakout room with your party, introduce your character to your party. And so you only have 10 minutes, so you may not want to let that part take too long. And then roll the dice to determine what your e-learning object will be about, the subject and for whom. Discuss what your modular e-learning object will look like, and complete pages 2 and 3 of your handout. Okay, do you have any questions? You can put them in the chat or ask if you wanted to unmute. Sounds good. Okay, don't hear any questions, Stephanie. I think it's okay to do the breakout rooms.
Okay, I just opened the breakout rooms so people can start moving in there.
All right, so we will continue. So welcome back, everyone, and congratulations. Your party has completed your first task. Yay! So we want you to give your party 1 health point, or HP, for accomplishing this task. So on the first page of your handout, you can click and give yourself 1 health point. Okay. As your party does a celebratory dance for your first victory, woot, woot, you hear a twig snap, and you all freeze. Deep from the woods emerges an ancient and wise forest spirit. The spirit looks at you and asks, "Has your party discussed accessibility when planning your module?" In a few minutes, we will return you to your breakout rooms with your party. When you return, brainstorm at least 1 way to make your module more accessible. For this, you will be granted 1 more health point. On your way to your breakout rooms, a fairy flies overhead, flip, 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 and drops a scroll at your feet. It reads, "Dear fearless party, it is with a heavy heart we informeth you, information illiteracy has overtaken the eastern border. You mustest act with haste. Assemble at once in your breakout room and assess the e-learning object you discussed and gradeth. Hugs and kisses, the Library Collective Council of eLearnia. When we put you into your breakout rooms with your party, we want you to discuss how well your e-learning object that you just created suits your character's e-learning needs. So not your own, but your character's. For example, you could discuss, would it be easy for a character to use your e-learning object? What would your character think about the length of the object? Did it meet your character's expectations or anything else from your character's perspective? Based on your discussion, give your e-learning object a grade from A+ to D. So don't worry about, you'll use this chart to help you give it a grade. So then add the corresponding health points to the rubric below to your handout on page 1. So if you give it a D, give it 1 health points. If you give it a B, give it 3 health points. But don't worry, the rubric and all that information is in your handout. So just to summarize the instructions of what you'll be doing this time when we put you into your breakout rooms, you'll have 6 minutes. We'll put you back into your breakout room with the same party. We want you to discuss one way to make your e-learning object more accessible and give yourselves 1 health point on page 1 for doing that. As your character, discuss how well the e-learning object fits your character's learning needs. Then based on your discussion with all the characters, grade your e-learning object and add the corresponding health points to the health points on page 1. Basically completing page 4. So we're going to put you back into your breakout rooms so for 6 minutes.
I just opened all the breakout rooms again.
Room now. Okay, so as your discussion wraps up, the fairy returns, dropping another scroll at your feet. Well doneth, fair party. You have created an awesometh e-learning object, but you must move with haste. Information literacy has already started to infiltrate the north. You must test your e-learning object for modularity immediately. Keep the same information literacy skill, but roll the dice to change the scenario. Hugs and kisses, the Library Collective Council of eLearnia.
Okay, so in your breakout room with your party, you will use the same information literacy skill as before, but roll the online dice to create a new scenario. So have 1 member of your party roll the dice to find out what subject the e-learning object will be for. So you'll have a new subject and you can record that on page 5 of your handout. And keep rolling so that you don't end up having the same subject as the last time. And then have 1 member of your party roll the dice to find out who the e-learning object will be for. And again, record that on page 5 and keep rolling so you don't end up with the same one as last time. And then with your party, discuss how you could quickly change out certain aspects of your e-learning object to accommodate this new scenario. Also, how easy, once you're done talking about that, then you can evaluate how easy was it for your party to quickly modify your object for the new scenario and grade your e-learning object using the rubric and place the corresponding health points on page 1 of your handout. So if you realize what it was supposed to be modular, you only get 1 health point. But if it was pretty easy, okay-ish, get a 3, and so on. And this rubric should be in your handout as well. So here's the summary of the last, this is the last breakout room, by the way. You'll have 6 minutes again. So you'll be put into your breakout room with your party, keep the same information literacy skill as before, but roll the dice to determine a new subject and a new audience. Discuss how you would change your e-learning object to adapt to the new situation, and then grade your modular e-learning object and give yourself the corresponding health points. So that's basically completing page 5 and 6 of your handout. Okay, Stephanie, please do the breakout rooms.
Okay, I just opened the breakout rooms.
Is back. Out of the shadows emerges the forest spirit to ask what you have learned so far. Did anyone in your party mention anything about accessibility this time? So if anybody in your party in the last breakout session talked about accessibility, please go to page 1 and give yourself 5 additional health points. Or sorry, give yourself 1 additional health point. If nobody talked about accessibility, please remove 5 health points from your total. And this will be your final score. So if somebody talked about accessibility, add 1. If nobody talked about accessibility, remove 5. Okay, so just as you finish adjusting your HP, the e-learning dragon swoops down in front of you. Whoosh! The final battle is near. The dragon snarls, "Who wants to do battle with a real-life e-learning dragon? Get ready to feel my wrath!" Your party braces for the battle. You engage in an epic battle with the e-learning dragon to the death. The dragon has 8 health points. How many health points do you have? Do you have more or less health points than the dragons? So have a look at your health points. He has 8. How many do you have? If your health points are greater than the dragon's 8 health points, you have slayeth the e-learning dragon and banished information illiteracy from eLearnia for all times. But if your health points is less than the dragon's health points at 8, your party is slayed by the e-learning dragon and information illiteracy takes over eLearnia forever.
eLearnia is mine, all mine. Mwahaha.
But really, in the end, you are all winners because today you learned something new, you made something new, and you made some friends. So game over. So at this point, we'd like you to get out of your e-learning character personas and return to your regular selves. And Angela is just going to do a debrief with everybody.
Yeah, so I learned this technique at a workshop that I went to, and some of you may know it already. It's the cascade debrief technique, where in a moment I'm going to ask everyone to start typing in your final thoughts about we'd love to hear like your thoughts about your the object that you were working on, or how you felt about this game, this type of gamifying workshop. Maybe it's something you might try in your information literacy sessions. Anything that you would like to say about this activity. And type it into the chat, but don't send it until I tell you to. So we're all gonna type and then send our comments at the same time. And then as they're filing through, I'll try to pick out some ones to comment on, and we'll do it that way. Just give it a try, see how it goes. Okay, so everyone start typing your comments, but don't hit send yet. I'll just give you like a minute to do that. Maybe not a minute, 30 seconds, let's say. Yeah, I'd love to know your scores too in the final cascade debrief. Okay, so everybody hopefully has finished typing, and so 1, 2, 3, hit send now. So thank you for making accessibility important. That was, yeah, great. The slides are amazing. Love the voice acting. Thank you for the breakout room peeps for being cool. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments, people enjoying their breakout groups, so that's awesome. I like the element of chance and the unexpected. Real life throws curveballs too. Would like to do one for APA for students. The activity got me thinking of new ideas for creating e-learning objects. That's awesome. It was pretty fun. We had a very productive team and learned a lot from each other. So that's wonderful. I'm so glad that that worked out. Love the excitement and interest of participants in the group, especially those not familiar with tabletop role-playing games. Yeah, so that's a nice way to be introduced to role-playing.
Full disclaimer, neither Angela or I have ever done tabletop gaming or role-playing before. So if some parts seemed a bit off, it's because we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, we probably should have said that at the beginning. Gamification of the presentation was an excellent way to demo the concept. As a non-gamer, I was hesitant, but appreciate the chance to try it out. Love the constant reminder about modularity and accessibility. Often those get forgotten. Plus audience, so important. Our health points are 13. Yay. I was saying to Tracy that I hoped at least one group gave themselves really high marks, because why not? And I like the gamified aspect, definitely hooked me at the beginning. Funny how quickly the time went in the breakout rooms. Great. I'm glad that it went fast, but it worked okay. And you enjoyed chatting and learning from others. That's wonderful. And I liked how the activity was broken down and got us to consider the key issues, audience, learning objective software. And yeah, Tracy, you're a natural. And I do have to say, Tracy did most of the work figuring out the game and the role playing. It was all Tracy. So well done, Tracy. Thank you. And great. We were nice. And this was fabulous. So thank you so much. We believe in us. Good job, Jen. Okay, that's everything then. Thank you so much for your comments. Yeah, if there's anything else, feel free to let us know.
Okay, thank you so much, Angela and Tracy. That was fabulous. That was a lot of fun. So we are going to transition now into the very last thing for the symposium today, which will be our fourth and final e-learning showcase. So I'm going to stop the recording here.